So I'll talk about crowdsourcing. In a traditional world, essentially what used to happen was that people used to give whatever work that they required to one individual. It could be his or her employee or a contractor. But things have changed. Today people, instead of giving it to one guy, go out to a community and ask the community to kind of come up with multiple various options for that particular kind of work. That's essentially what is called crowdsourcing. The term was coined in 2006. I'm sure a lot of examples, if we go back in history, can be found out much before 2006 as well. But essentially the term started to come around 2006 by a gentleman called Jeff Hove. He wrote an article about crowdsourcing in a magazine called Wired. Maybe you guys can go back and read about it. So, how many of you have seen some of the Indian brands doing crowdsourcing in last, let's say, 2 or 3 years? Any references, any thoughts that you guys have? Anybody knows of any Indian brand who's done any crowdsourcing in last 2 years, 3 years?
Times of India.
Okay. Anything else?
PNG.
Micromax. How many of you guys use Micromax? Good. All of you are Apple users. So Micromax changed their logo last year. Instead of getting an agency to do it and spend 1 crore in doing it, what they did was they went out to a crowdsourcing platform, asked people to come up with various different options of how their logo could look like. And so that's essentially what they did. They changed their logo using the crowd, asked the people to come up with various options. If you know the rupee symbol, that's a crowdsource exercise, guys. So Government of India has used it. Meru cabs have used crowd to come up with the design of how their interiors could look like. This happened a couple of months back. This I'm sure you would have seen on TV. Right? Shah Rukh Khan, everybody knows about him, asking about the stories that people can essentially share of how a Hyundai TV ad could go like. Airtel ads, the friend ads, how many of you have seen it? How many of you guys like it? All of you. So all of those are essentially crowdsourced. People have been sharing their experiences on which they're building. So what it means for you guys? 2 years or 2.5 years back, Time magazine came up with an issue with the front page saying that it's you guys who are essentially having all the power. It's essentially the crowd who defines what is needed by a brand, how that needs to be done, whether it's about design, whether it's about testing, whether it's about the software, whether it's about the product. All of it is driven by how the crowd wants it to be, how the crowd wants to work on it. So the power lies with you guys. What it means for business. Now essentially, think from a perspective of Micromax. Had they gone out to an agency, asked the agency to work on it, 4 options, 5 options, 10 options, 5 guys thinking, 20 guys thinking. Here is plethora of guys. Here is a complete audience who's thinking about how the Micromax logo could look like. So there's a lot of insight that they're generating. The crowd is giving them the insight which traditionally a couple of guys were essentially giving it to them. It means speed. Let's say you guys need a website for your college. You go to a company, they do it in 7 days. Think of 10 guys sitting across the globe doing it in 1 day. Isn't your work multiplied by the number of people who are working on it? So it means a lot of speed that can be accessed by these businesses. It means a lot of collaboration. So instead of 1 guy working on it, instead of 2 guys working on it, there is 10 guys, there are 100 of guys who are working together. And that's the important part, because all of them, when we're working together, are coming up with something which is far more innovative, far more exciting, and it's driven by what you guys want, what the user wants. So there's a lot of collaboration which is happening. So 3 important things that a business generates out of the crowd mechanism. I'll move quickly, so in case you guys have any questions, you can stop me. What all can somebody crowdsource? From a business perspective or a user perspective, what all can actually be crowdsourced? There are people who are asking for funds today. Businesses going out, IPO, it's essentially crowdfunding. Non-IPO, even in a traditional, in an innovative manner, there are startups who are going out to a lot of individuals now asking for funds. Collective knowledge, so you can build on various knowledge. So 10 people coming together with their own skill sets are building on the knowledge that can drive various things today. It is a lot of community building. So solving a lot of traffic problems, solving a lot of community issues, solving a lot of civic engagements. From an open innovation perspective, there is a lot of things which are coming up using the crowd as a mechanism, because there's such a high level of insight which is driven by so many people sitting across the globe. Now, imagine somebody designing a Micromax logo sitting out of US, somebody sitting out of Europe, somebody sitting out of some other area. There's so much of insight, so much of innovation which is coming out of that. Collective creativity, obviously when so many people are working together, there's so much new stuff that can come out of it. So essentially, 8 large parameters which you can drive, which a business can drive by using crowdsourcing.